Hello and welcome to the latest edition of Untitled Reviews. This time around we're taking a look at HP OMEN's Photon wireless mouse. Now the Photon is their kind of latest foray into the gaming sector where HP are kind of jumping onto the bandwagon with another wireless gaming mouse. And at a price of $139.99 from their website, it's not the cheapest thing in the world, but it is designed to compete with other mice that we've featured on this channel like the Razer Basilisk Ultimate or the Logitech G502 Lightspeed, so it has to deliver a fair amount to be able to compete with those two, for instance. On the left hand side we find a kind of what's inside guide, system requirements such as the USB-A port on your PC for the receiver, what it's compatible with. Quite ingeniously this is compatible with Windows, Mac, Linux, all that kind of stuff, as well as being compatible with Xbox and PlayStation as well on certain games. So for Xbox I think that's Warframe and Fortnite. We've got some more detail on the specs, so we've got a 0.2 millisecond response time from these optical mechanical switches with a 50 million click lifetime, as well as kind of dual mode supported either wired or using a 2.4 gigahertz dongle. No Bluetooth connectivity unfortunately. There's some onboard memory for presets that come with the OMEN Command Center software, 11 programmable buttons and a sculpted ambidextrous design with a battery LED as well as some weight and dimension informations. We'll just flip over to the back very slightly there, just showing you those kind of spiel about basically why you should buy the mouse in various different European languages. So what's actually in the box then? Well, first of all we find the Photon itself, which we'll look at in more detail in a minute. Some additional side pods to attach onto the side to make this mouse left-handed, right-handed, or just have an extra bit of width. These little kind of side pods themselves that will go onto the side to kind of get rid of some of the button functionality, so if you want them on one side, both sides, or neither, HP have got you covered with both of these side pods as well as the actual individual little buttons here which are wrapped with their own little plastic. You've got the manual here in a little bit of a plastic bag complete with OMEN sticker, which is quite a nice sticker indeed. A pretty standard 1.8 meter kind of braided micro USB cable for charging capabilities, and you can also use the mouse wired as well. There's a micro USB port on the front there as well. USB receiver for plugging into the back of your PC to make it work wirelessly through a 2.4 gigahertz dongle, and then a kind of wireless extender, so if you want to use it a little bit further away from your machine you can do as well. Okay then, so let's get a little bit more hands-on with the Photon then. So what you can see here is the mouse in its kind of naked state, so to speak, with all the different kind of config options down the side. And just focusing on the mouse a little bit more kind of in detail, I suppose, it's made of a nice little kind of high quality mix of plastics, and we've got some brushed kind of aluminium-esque plastic on the side and then some hard plastic on the top here. The scroll wheel feels really nice, and the rubber they've used is recessed as well, which is quite nice. Well, we've got 11 programmable buttons when we have all these kind of filled in, I suppose, but otherwise I really like the look of it. I'd say it's worth the money, basically on design alone. It is actually slightly heavier than some of the competition that we've had before, which does negate the need for weights, which the G502 had but the Basilisk Ultimate lacked, and so it's nice to have something a little bit more sturdy without the need of a AA battery, for instance. One thing that I think HP should really pride themselves on with this is an ambidextrous design, which is perfectly kind of demonstrated by these slightly larger side pods, which we can put on like so, which makes the mouse a little bit wider, meaning I can use it in my right hand or my left and still get the same compatibility. The buttons themselves, because you get these little ones inside, are quite easy to put on. I just slot in using quite a powerful magnet actually. You can slot in like that, so you can get buttons on that side. And you've got these kind of blanking cards on the side, so if you want to cut functionality to only one side to make this a purely right-handed mouse or a purely left-handed mouse, that's completely up to you. But from a purely design perspective anyway, I'm really impressed by the OMEN Photon, to say the very least. Right, so how did we find the OMEN Photon in usage? Now, the OMEN Photon makes use of a 16,000 dpi Pixart PAW 3335 optical sensor, which is probably an inspired decision for a sensor to use with 16,000 dpi. It holds up against the competition wonderfully. I mean, the Basilisk Ultimate features 20,000, which I thought was a bit excessive, so 16,000 for a wireless gaming mouse does seem to be the sweet spot in the market at the minute. As we've said before, it utilises a 2.4 GHz wireless connection with this USB receiver and extender that's currently out of shot, which works absolutely fine and does negate the need for wires quite nicely, actually. And so it is as seamless as a wired connection would be. The lack of Bluetooth connectivity compared to some of the competition may hamper some people, but using the receiver, certainly in our testing, was found to be absolutely fine. Now, what you can see the mouse currently sitting on is HP OMEN's, anyway, the Outpost mouse mat, which does cost nearly as much as the mouse at a price of £130. Now, we mentioned earlier that the mouse utilises QI wireless charging capabilities, which comes thanks to this mouse mat. There's a little spot kind of just to the top left of the mat, and there's a little hexagon which you should be able to see, and if you put the mouse there, when you've got the mouse pad plugged in with either its USB Type-C or this USB-A dongle, mine that uses 2, the mouse does charge, and mousepad does charge the mouse and also light up with some nice RGB. The Outpost as a mouse mat, it's a nice addition, but it is quite excessive. I mean, you're paying what is essentially nearly 300 quid for a mouse mat and a mouse, which does seem to be a fair amount. So certainly for me anyway, I'd just buy the mouse as it is, but certainly when gaming and things, the mouse worked absolutely brilliantly. It's a really comfortable mouse to use as well, especially with these extra side pods and things. And being left-handed as well, it meant I could use it as a proper left-handed mouse should I wish to. And so HP have really got themselves onto a winner with this, certainly. So, the OMEN Photon does come with its own software, namely HP's OMEN Command Center. And this is primarily designed for usage with HP's OMEN line of gaming PCs for overclocking capabilities and things like that. But it's fair to say that there is a little bit of customization with regard to the mouse. Now, when you first open the software up, you're greeted with this particular screen that shows you the charging level of the mouse itself. So currently this is sitting at 40%. Have been used a fair bit in the past few days, and its status of being wirelessly charged. It does come with a up to 50 hours battery life, which is something that we didn't mention before that we should mention now. The first thing that's noteworthy in the OMEN Photon is the lighting. The lighting on the mouse itself, as you can see, is actually quite crisp and sharp. But it only features 2 lighting zones, which is some 7 times less than what you get with Razer's Basilisk Ultimate. And those 2 lighting zones are the scroll wheel and the OMEN logo down the bottom of the mouse that's currently cycling through. You get a few different modes. We've got static mode that just allows you to switch to any particular colour. I'm currently in basic mode, so that's any colour along these presets, be it blue, orange, green, other types of blue. There's animation, so you can have only 3 presets available though, so the possibilities aren't really endless. But you've got a colour cycle, kind of breathing, so it pulsates different colours, as well as it kind of blinking and doing it quite quickly and scrolling through immensely fast. As well as that, there's these themes down the bottom if you don't want to choose your own custom colour, which you can choose from in the advanced settings from any particular RGB numbers if you so wish. You've got these 3 presets of Volcano, Jungle and Ocean that just offer slightly different feelings when the mouse is being used, I suppose. And you can change the speed from slow, medium or fast, as well as the brightness from 25, 50, 75, 100. There's also to have this maps to the DPI indicator. So you can have different kind of colours dependent upon which DPI level it is. So I suppose that saves trying to remember what all the different numbers are, which you can change in the settings anyway. Macro programmability is quite easy and convenient, and it works with literally any key on the keyboard, essentially, if they're alphanumeric, for instance, as well as things like media keys, mouse actions, so literally anything, any button, you name it, this mouse will program it, basically. There's also an option here if you want it, so it's just in its left-handed config, its right-handed config, or if you want all the buttons on as well. So HP do give you a fair amount of freedom there as well. And in the settings, this is where we can change all the DPI, so you can change it from levels, anything from 2 to 8 levels of DPI, and so you can literally change it to anything in kind of 100 kind of increments, so anything from 100 all the way to 16,000. It's currently sitting at 100, then 800, 1200, 1600, 2400, 3600, 4800 and a full 16,000. And so you can change those using the 2 buttons. there you can also have the kind of DPI indicator that's currently on, so the mouse will actually go a different colour dependent upon the DPI level, which is quite a nice little thing to have. There's also the polling rate that you can change from 125 all the way to 1000 Hertz. So there's probably more customization than you might imagine with the OMEN Command Center, but compared to the likes of Razer's Synapse and even Logitech's G Hub, for instance, it is a little limited, but otherwise it's quite good. Right, to conclude then, so the HP OMEN Photon is an absolutely fantastic mouse, and you're getting something that's fully customizable in a physical sense with a fantastic PixArt sensor and a DPI range from 100 to 16,000. That being said, some of the competition is perhaps a little bit less expensive and may have a few more credentials by way of reputation, which may just edge the Photon certainly at the final hurdle. Although, if you're looking for something that's from a reputable desktop PC manufacturer with a great sensor and fantastic physical customization with something that's also ambidextrous, the OMEN Photon is a fantastic mouse. And if you like what you see, we're going to have an Amazon link down in the description where you can buy this thing with or without the mouse pad. So it's really your choice as well. And if you like what you see, feel free to like, subscribe, tell your friends, all that good stuff.